CVNA Carvana stock currently at about $14.35. We took a trade on this stock at $10 and we actually took another entry on it around $11 in a live trading group. We're going to go over how to trade a trend and how to profit off of Carvana stock. My trading group is the only one where you have literally a whole day usually in advance to take the trade. CVNA chart, okay, right here, CVNA chart where it said to buy in at $10 and get as close to 9:45 as possible. That was sent out to pro students yesterday at 8:32 p.m. If you are ready to make money in the stock market with my trading group, and of course nothing is guaranteed, but we have a consistent track record for success, simply go to the description, click on this little link that says trade with coach, okay? And boom, you'll be directed to this page. Click get instant access. You can watch the video if you want, and then you'll have an opportunity to sign up for live trading, including the premium chat where we called out the Carvana stock at $10. It did go to almost $15. That is a 50% increase in one day. So I look forward to seeing you there. Again, just click that little link in the description that says trade with coach, and I will see you in the stock market. Becoming a good trader is all about identifying what's tough for you. Okay, especially if you look at your trades and you look at your losing trades. If you can notice a pattern, maybe it's something that you ate on that specific day. Maybe you didn't get enough rest. Maybe it was because the market itself was pulling back or the market was red. Identifying different obstacles associated with losing trades, okay, and you're always going to get some losing trades, but if you see a pattern of losing trades, if you start to take note of the different obstacles that you have, then you can identify those obstacles, remove them, and then move on to profitability and becoming a profitable trader. So for Robert, these were a lot of really good obstacles that he just mentioned, and I'm sure he's not the only one that faces them. So we're now going to I'm going to go over some of the other introductions that we've had in the chat. I see plenty of those. Okay. All right. It says, somebody says, hi, Parves. Okay. Hi, my name is Parves. I am new to day trading. I want to learn more about day trading, specifically the process and tactics. So Parves may be familiar with trading in general, which is basically buying a stock and then selling a stock, but he would like to learn more about day trading. So day trading specifics. So what is it that day traders do that other traders don't do? How do you capitalize on day trading as opposed to swing trading or long-term investing? Okay, and then I'm going to go over to the next one. So Grant says, or Little says, hi, I've been trading for 4 years. Looking for a group to share tactics and stocks. Yeah, okay, awesome. 4 years of experience. That's quite a bit of time trading. Grant says, I appreciate that you show price targets for entries and exits. Yeah, absolutely. That's so huge, is to have an idea of where you're going to buy a stock and when you're going to sell a stock. And I'll add that it's also important to know what time frame that you are trading on. You must know the time frame that you're trading on. If you're taking a swing trade, okay, like a swing trade, and one of the swing trades that our group took, specifically our pro group took, was on a stock called BBAI. Okay, so BBAI, we were picking it up around $1.80. So it was on like January 16th, January 19th. We started building a swing position. Now we knew that we were going to swing trade this stock. And by the way, for anyone looking at my chart, so you guys understand how my chart works, these yellow lines here on the bottom, those are generally the buy-in zone. The little green arrow, that's like our entry. And then the blue lines are where we sold part of our position. So we're selling part of our position at 199, 222, okay, and we sell along the way. We don't wait for the stock to double before selling. That being said, we did hold on to some shares. And by the way, the stock went from 180 to 421, where we had our final sell target. So that would basically double any trading account. Anything invested, you would double your money. But I want to especially highlight that this trade, we knew going into it that it was going to be a swing trade. This trade was a swing trade from the start. So we could see in the premium chat here that we identified this as a swing trade early on. We didn't see we didn't go into BBAI, right? BBAI is our best bet around $2, right? We didn't go into BBAI thinking that that we were only going to hold it for a day trade. Okay, we were buying BBAI around $2, knowing ahead of time that we were going to hold it for a few days. Okay, and that's the difference, because if we were only day trading BBAI, maybe we would only get like a 5% or a 10% increase. But by holding it from 180 to $4, that's how we're able to get the full 100% increase. But we did not go into BBAI with a super short time frame. We went into it with a long time frame. A lot of traders make this mistake of going into a stock as a day trade and then turning it into a swing trade because the trade becomes a losing trade. If you bought AMC, that's probably the best example I can give. If you bought AMC at $25 and you thought that it was going to go to 100, and then it dumps to $10, that, and then you say, well, now it's a swing trade. That is what gets traders into trouble, is when they hold on to a stock just because they're red on the stock. If you're holding on to stocks just because you're red on the stock, that is a pattern that will cause you to lose money in the long run. I mean, even if anyone bought AMC at $10 thinking it was going to come back up to 25, you can see in the long run this went, it went all the way down to $5. And sorry about all the yellow lines obscuring the actual price, but it's in a downtrend here. And the yellow lines are just there because I've day traded AMC multiple times. But you never want to long-term hold a stock, especially a stock that doesn't have a strong fundamentals. Okay, so it's not your Microsoft, your Apple. You can long-term hold those if you have a plan. But other stocks like AMC, like MMAT, like GNS, like MSGM, which I called out at 20 and it went to 80, those stocks are not long-term holds. Those stocks are stocks which you want to hold for maybe 1 day, maybe 3 days, and you want to buy them for a really good price and then sell them at a good price. Okay, again, a lot of reason why traders get into trouble is because they hold stocks for too long. They hold stocks for too long, and they don't know how long they're supposed to hold a trade. How many people here run into that problem where you just don't know how long you're supposed to hold a stock? Like, it goes up a certain amount, and you're like, well, I thought it was supposed to go up 100%, so I'm going to hold it. So you're in profit, but you don't take the profit. Just let me know in the chat if that's ever happened to you. And no shame, everybody's done it. But the first step in going past it, okay, yeah. So Thick says, like, yeah, like I used to do that too. Yeah. We all do that. We all do this where a trade moves against us, and then the rationale is I've lost too much money to sell. And that's just the funniest thing ever, because if we hold on to a losing trade, we're going to lose more money. So if somebody was in AMC at $27 and they saw it go down to $20, they might think, I've lost too much money to sell, because they've lost already like 33%. So if they were trading with $10,000, they've lost $3,300 in the trade already. So like, I've lost too much money to sell. I can't possibly sell it. I have to wait for the stock to go back up. And what happened? They ended up losing another 50%. we can't hold on to losing trades. We are traders. And now addressing Little's question, in order to, the biggest advantage that a day trader has is that they're never bag holders. Why are they never bag holders? Because they always close their position at the end of the day. We always close our position at the end of the day. And yes, I do help traders do swing trades as well. But for the most part, we always close our trades at the end of the day. So for instance, Carvana was the top trade today that we went over in our pro group. Of course, like if you guys aren't already in there, feel free to message me if you want to get in. But I just want to show you the trade that we were focusing on this morning. So that was Carvana. Okay. Carvana was ticker CVNA. That was, we bought it yesterday at 9:33, obviously, but we also bought it again this morning when there was a dip in the pre-market. So CVNA in the pre-market, if you look at this chart, we're looking to pick it up around $10 and as close to $9.45 as possible. So the reason why we were buying this stock is because it showed a variety of factors that I identified using my analysis strategy, which I teach in my live classes. But the basics of it is that the stock is in an uptrend. Okay, the stock is going up. It's primed to go up. So CVNA. So I'm not going to tell you, the inner workings of my strategy completely, but I will tell you that CVNA looked good at $9.50. CVNA looked good. So in pre-market, we got that slight dip on CVNA to the buy-in zone around 978, at which point it went up to a primary profit target, which was originally at around 1027. And then it then did a secondary rally once the market opened to the profit target at 1075. Okay, wasn't expecting it to come above $11 right away, but that was another trade right there. We had a chance to add back when the stock came down, and then we had an opportunity to sell again at the profit target. Now, notice that there's no bag holding going on here. So if we're not holding onto the stock for multiple days. So if the stock comes up to these blue lines that we set, we're selling the stock. And by the way, Parvez, I hear you. You see, you lost too much money to sell. That's what goes through every trader's head. In fact, a lot of times you'll freeze. We will actually freeze in the market when we don't see a trade going our way. It's like, oh my gosh, why does that freezing happen? I'll tell you why it happens, because I've studied psychology. I got a bachelor's degree from the University of California, Irvine. So I've been in a few different fields. The reason why we freeze when a trade goes against us is because we couldn't possibly fathom that could have happened. When we take the trade, we basically have 100% faith that the trade is going to go up and go our way. So when it moves against us, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do, and we end up losing money. Okay? Or we end up freezing, holding a trade for too long, and losing even more money, and then justifying it in our head by saying we've lost too much money to sell. So I don't want to just identify the problem here. I want to give you guys a workable solution that you can take with you and use it to improve your trading long term. So that strategy is simply to have an exit strategy. Okay, always have an exit strategy before you enter a trade. For Carvana in the pro group, we were talking about the exit strategy for Carvana in the notes. So the exit strategy for Carvana was essentially if the price came below $9.45 and stayed below $9.45 for $5 or longer, and the stock refused to hold the volume weighted average price, then at that point we would exit the trade. So we would invest up to $9.45. Okay, we're willing to pay to still buy the stock if it's at $9.45. But if the stock goes below $9.45, we would think about getting out of the trade. So we started investing at around $9.78. Okay, and you can see this area here. So it never really came all the way down to $9.45. It just kind of came to the top of the buy zone. So that's when we started building our position. Then the stock went up. So we didn't have to worry about the exit strategy too much. But if the stock came down, okay, if it came down to $9.50, then what we would do is first we would add more. Okay, if the stock stayed in the area where we want to buy the stock, and this is day trading specifics now, then we would buy more of the stock. And then if it comes up again, then we would start selling and scaling out so that we can make money on the difference. So if we buy at $9.48 and it goes up to $10, that's 50-cent profit, 1,000 shares, that's $500, right? If you invest $10,000 and a stock that's $9.50 goes up 50 cents, then that would be essentially a 5% increase. So you'd make $500 profit on that trade. And you don't have to sell all at once. So for instance, this trade that we took this morning, okay, we started off buying about 50% of our position, around $9.80. We saved 50% of our position for if it went lower. And sorry if this sounds a little confusing at first, but basics is if you buy around $10 and then the stock goes to $11, which it did, that's a 10% increase. So that's how you profit as a day trader. The 10% increase from the buy to the sell will net you, if you're trading with $10,000, $1,000 profit on the day. So that's how you profit as a day trader. And that's the idea behind day trading. A lot of you guys right now, I know, are swing traders. Some of you are swing traders by necessity, since you can't, you have an account under 25,000. It's a little bit harder for you to day trade often. If you have an account under $25,000, then I recommend focusing on 3 high quality trades per week, and then the rest swing trading. So Carvana was one of those swing trading type stocks, picking it up around $9 and then selling it, okay, selling it at a later time, like today. So from $9 to $11, that's actually 20% profit. So you can still make money by swing trading. You just have to make sure that you know a stock is tradable by swing trading before going into it. So don't swing trade a day trading stock. If a stock is extremely volatile, I wouldn't consider that a swing trading stock. If you're swing trading, it's important to get into high quality stocks like Carvana. If you're day trading, you can trade really bad stocks like MSGM. Okay, MSGM, let's take a look at that one real quick. So MSGM, right, called it out at $20, it went to 80, right? So you can like Forex your money and you can sell there, okay, sell in the pre-market and day trade it. But I don't recommend buying this stock at $80 and then holding it for a few months or years, because it's too volatile. When a stock is too volatile, meaning that it has too much up and down movement and you can't clearly identify what direction the trend is going, then don't swing trade it. But you can day trade it and still make money. Okay, so that's a big differentiator I want you guys to be aware of, is when you're swing trading a stock, make sure that stock is stable. When you're day trading a stock, the stock doesn't have to be stable. But the problem is a lot of you are trading stocks that uninformed YouTube traders are trading. I know I'm on YouTube, right? And you can find good traders on YouTube, but there's a lot of them out there that don't know what they're doing. One example is like MMAT. This is not a swing trading stock. It's not a stable stock. This stock, you know, was at $2 and now it's at $1. So everyone lost half their money. We have other stocks like Wissa. This is not a swing trading stock. Okay, we see this going up from 14 and then now it's back at 9 again. Doesn't mean that it won't go up at certain times, but if you're going to take a swing trade, it's much smarter to take a swing trade on a stable stock, a stock which actually has long-term prospect and has the ability to make you money in a fairly stable way. Okay, so that's the difference between swing trading and day trading. All right, Parvis has a question. Robinhood has given me a headache. What brokerage would you suggest? I recommend every trader start off with Thinkorswim. It's going to look like sandpaper to the eyes at first. Okay, if you look at Thinkorswim, it's going to look like sandpaper at first, right? Looks horrible. Right? There's so much information on the screen, but eventually you'll learn to appreciate this brokerage. There's zero commission. I'll be happy to leave that link, or really just look up TD Ameritrade, and then you can get this platform to trade on. Okay, it's a good platform to trade on. So now that we went over, our trade on CVNA, and we went over some of the difficulties that you guys have, you got it, Parvez. Then I want to go now into addressing first of all, some more of the questions that you guys have. Yes, nice. Yeah, someone just made money on CVNA. Low risk remaining. Okay, so he just asked me what stop price I would have on CVNA right now. So let's actually do that in real time. So CVNA here, okay, given on the trend and the VWAP, I would have a stop at $10.27. So stop at 10.27. All right, you don't want to put your stops too close to where the current price is, because what will end up happening is you'll just end up getting stopped out, and then the trend will continue upward. Now, I don't think CVNA will go up much more today, but I do have another profit target set at $11.31. So just FYI on the last profit target for CVNA. So we still have a little bit of our position left, and also keep in mind that CVNA was like our kind of longer term swing trade. And I like the volume coming into CVNA. So you guys can see on CVNA how those green bars, right? Those green bars here are, or the purple bars here, they're very high on the buys. That's always a good sign for a stock. Don't buy a stock just because you have a high volume buy, but that's a sign that the trend can continue upward, which is why we're actually breaking $11 as we speak. And we're probably going to hit that 11.31 price target today. Okay. So if you want to be a professional day trader, you have to be solid on your technical analysis. And the fastest way to achieve this is to find a consistently profitable trader who knows what they're doing. There's plenty of YouTube videos which can help you learn technical analysis, but nothing will help you faster than trading live in the market. And it's also a lot more fun when you can make money while you learn. So that's why we have the Discord. And of course, that's also why I have live trading classes. So feel free, again, you guys can ask me about these, but going forward, I want to, first of all, open it up to any questions that you guys have. Okay. So what questions do you guys have? This is mainly an interactive experience for you guys. I want you guys to kind of steer what you want to learn about so that I can help you during this live session here. And so Parvez asked about BuzzFeed. He says, not sure if this is the right or fair place to ask this question. Would you be comfortable sharing a few words on BuzzFeed? Yes, I will answer any and all questions so long as they don't go into the premium content that I have for pro members, since that wouldn't be fair. So BuzzFeed here is in a long-term downtrend. After I saw this happening earlier on, which is why I took it off the watch list for all the pro members. I saw at $4. That's where it was like topping out. So I saw the stock like not coming up to $4 again, and that was problematic. So we did take a secondary trade off of it from $3 all the way up to $3.50. You guys see our last trade on BuzzFeed was mostly closed at 347. So close. Okay, so like sold more BuzzFeed, right? Because we're trading this here. We're buying at $3. Okay. Final sell target was here at around 360. Okay. Close 90 to 95% of your position. So we traded BuzzFeed, we bought it around $3 and we sold it around $3.70, at which point we weren't taking a swing trade on it. We wouldn't expect BuzzFeed to do a secondary rally. And the reason why, and now we can actually go into Robert's question, how do you identify a trend? It's actually super simple to identify a trend. You just draw a line. Okay, if you see a line and you can see that the stock is basically not holding that line, you can see how clear it is now. We see the price of BuzzFeed after it went up to 415 trended down. We took a trade from $3 to $4, but then $3 to $3.50. But then look, the trend held. Okay, there's now a trend, an established trend. The stock came up again in the pre-market and then down. Okay, down, down, down. In my video, I never said to buy BuzzFeed. I don't want you guys to buy BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is not a stock which is a good prospect anymore after it topped out at $3.50. But if you are still in BuzzFeed, I would recommend closing it around $2.47 or $2.40. There's no promise that you'll be able to get that price for BuzzFeed, but I will also say that BuzzFeed will become attractive again at $2. Okay. And to find support and resistance, which is what David just asked. David just asked, how do you find your support and resistance? Just look at the chart historically. If you see that the chart is basically reacting to a certain level and tends to go up after it comes to a certain level, that's your support. If you see that the stock is not reacting well to a certain level and it tends to get pushed down when it comes to another level, that's your resistance. Okay, so we got that's basically the support and resistance. We talked about today trends and identifying a trend. So like for instance, QNRX, like early on, identified that this was in a downtrend. Okay, so QNRX, after it went from 350, I can see it's a downtrend, especially at market open around 290, and then it comes down and down. And so all you have to do to identify a trend is just to draw a line on your chart. If the stock is holding below that line and that line is going down, okay, if it's trending down, then the stock is in a downtrend. If the chart, on the other hand, is trending up, then you can see that the stock is in a long-term upward trend here. Okay, and I'll draw that line for you. Okay, since yesterday, which is why we traded the stock again, right? CVNA, and I guess, yes, we are making some more money on CVNA right now. Okay, going to hit our final profit target of the day at 11:31. But the long-term uptrend, this you can see it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, right? And then at the bottom, you can see as well, it's coming up, it's hitting that, hitting that, hitting that, and it's refusing to go below. It's refusing to go below the trend line. And so that is your upward trend right there. So identify trends by drawing a line, seeing what direction the line is going, and then seeing how the chart reacts to those price lines. So Little says, what am I using? Well, we talked about Think or Swim with TD Ameritrade. This is Think or Swim with TD Ameritrade. Okay, this is Think or Swim, TD Ameritrade. So I recommend closing most CVNA here, possible add back around $10.50, but it's an excellent trade, right? So everyone in the group would be able to make easily 10 to 15% on the CVNA trade, which again is $1,500 today, even despite the market weakness. So how do you draw a line for the 1-year chart? The same as you do for any chart, right? It's not different. So for the 1-year chart, you're just going to draw the same line, but you're going to adjust it so that it matches the trend of the 1-year chart. So here we are on the 1-year chart, right? And then you're going to draw the line here. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Let me go to another stock, a stock which I haven't, like Apple, right? We're saying to buy Apple around 124. You see, this is a perfect example of what a trend looks like, to where on the yearly chart, you just draw a line, and then from there, you can see uptrend, right? And then right now, And trends aren't as helpful when you get them too late, but you can identify trends early if you're at, if you basically, I've trained you, you'll be able to identify trends early. For instance, Apple is likely starting at least a short-term downtrend right now, okay? And after earnings, that's going to determine what direction the trend is going to go in, okay? Message me in the premium chat if you'd like to know more about Apple and trading Apple. Just keep in mind that because the stock itself is so expensive, it's better to use options to trade Apple rather than trading actual shares of Apple, because if you trade options, you can make 300% off Apple. But if you're trading the stock itself, maybe you'll be lucky to get like 5% off Apple. Okay, just FYI. And CVNA, I believe, just hit our final profit target. Yeah, there. So CVNA profit target. So I'm going to signal that because, it's my responsibility to do the signals. Target for day trade. Consider closing 100% and adding back more on pullback for swing trade so long as the trend holds. Okay, so that's the importance of the trend line. All right, so this is like real time, like this is like real time trading right now. So it's really cool that you guys get to be a part of this and learn from this. But let's see. Let's go ahead and address. Yes, I drew the line for the 1 year chart. What time frames do you stick to for your technical analysis, Dick said? Okay, what time frames do I use? All of them. I use all of them except up to the daily, up to the 1 year chart. I will not use the weekly chart because I'm not investing for years at a time. But I will use the daily chart. I will use the yearly chart. I will use the 1 minute chart. I'll use the 3 minute chart. I'll use the 1 hour chart. I'll use all of them. Okay. When I trade, it's about identifying the trend from the highest level and then microscopically zooming in, finding the best possible trade where all time frames align, sun, moon, and stars, and taking that trade at that point, calling the stock worthy of me and my traders trading it. So to answer your question, these all time frames, these daily, weekly, not the weekly, the daily, the 1 hour, 30 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, the 1 minute. Okay, all of them. All of them. Right, and more questions? You guys got more questions? That was a good one, but we are just about done. We're just about done, but we have about 15 minutes left in our day trading class here, which you guys have gotten to be a part of. Now's the time to ask any questions that you have. I will give you guys the call out at the end as promised. And of course, you guys can reach out to me on Discord at any time. So more questions, and then I'm going to hit on at least one more topic that Robert brought up. If you guys don't have questions, feel free to unmute yourself, guys. No need to be ashamed of your voice. If you don't feel comfortable speaking and having that on YouTube, I totally get it, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm here, right? I can show my face. So yeah, awesome. Thank you, David. So it's great to meet everyone. See you on the chat. And he's got to go back to work. So thanks for coming, David. All right. So just kind of waiting, guys. Just kind of waiting. Want to see what you guys have to say. It's cool that you guys got to see our trade on Carvana here in real time. So what other questions do you guys have? And I'll give you guys about 30 seconds. I know it takes time to come up with a question, and I know I've given you a lot of information on this traders meeting. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write your question in the chat, unmute yourself, ask me. Then I'm going to go into another topic. So Thick says, how many calls do you typically put out in pro, swings, and day trades? So swing trades are very specific. So I'll usually have maybe 1 or 2 calls on swing trades during the week. We don't need a lot of swing trade call outs. Why? Because a swing trade is long term. When we are taking a swing trade, we have to be sure that it's going to go up over time. We took 2 swing trades on BBAI and NEGG on the 19th of January, and then we held that for about 1 week until we doubled our money. Don't need a ton of swing trades in order to make a good profit. And you also don't want to be having a lot of positions open, because that's going to use your time and attention and make it harder to focus on what matters. So we have about 1 or 2 swing trade callouts per week if the setup is good. The other swing trade that we took is NEGG. And that one we took at around $1.70 and it went to $2.14. Okay, so that was a swing trade. Closed on most of our position around $2. And yeah, it was a good trade, a good swing trade. Long-term trend, as you guys can see. So that's how many swing trade calls we do. Okay, so all of the swing trades can make you guys a lot of money. If there is a stock which is a day trade, but you also want to think about swing trading it, just ask. But normally, if we swing trade a stock, we just want the float to be above 10 million. Okay, ideally, if something is a swing trade, we want to float above 10 million or at least above 1 million. If the float is below that, then we're probably not going to swing trade it. How many callouts do we do on day trades? We do about 6 callouts on day trades daily. We put out 3 charts this morning. We took another chart on GNS. So it was 10% on GNS. It was 10% twice on Carvana. So we actually took 2 trades on that. Lucid, it was another 10%. So we did about 5 callouts today. The only one that didn't really work out was HILS, which is kind of a break-even trade, HILS. But GNS, LCID, CVNA, those were all callouts that we did this morning, and most of them hit their profit targets in the pre-market. So in terms of our track record, feel free to ask if you want to take a look at our track record, but we win trades every single day. The majority of our trades are always winning trades. You can see LCID, we took a trade on that yesterday, up 12 bucks, up 10% on that. We took, BBAI here, closing the BBAI. Foxo was excellent. That was a 20% trade. Actually, that went up 100% because that one went from 80 cents to $1.60. You could see on January 30th at 11:32 a.m. we were buying it at that white buy zone there at 79 cents. Okay, and we could even get a better price than that. And then we're selling it along the way up to 115 and all the way up to $2 when the stock doubled. So plenty of winning trades you are going to get access to if you want to join our in-group. But now I want to, oh, wait, somebody else has a question. So after I read Mark, oh, somebody unmuted themselves. Yes? Yes, somebody unmuted themselves. You can ask a question live. Danny, do you want to ask a question? Okay. So after a red market like today, does this bring consequences for tomorrow? Yes. In fact, I posed a question in the free chat. Okay, the free chat here. Most of the good trades today were in the pre-market today. Does anybody know why? Okay, why were most of the good trades in the pre-market besides, our top stock CVNA, which performed regardless? Why were most of the good stocks in the pre-market? The reason why most of the trades, the winning trades, were in the pre-market is because the market had momentum. The stock market tends to bring the previous day of the SPY into the next day. We had a good SPY day yesterday. And so even though the market didn't rally yet, we were still able to get a good rally on all stocks in the pre-market because the day before was so good. The same is for the red days. If today is a red day and the SPY closes near 400, you can expect that to push the stocks down. And I will show you exactly how to join Pro if you're ready to make money with us. But if you are watching the SPY and the SPY is downtrending, then that price action, that stock market weakness, that red day will carry into the next day. I hope that answers your question, DS. Now, just because this fear and greed, well, it's not necessarily the fear and greed coming into the next day, it's expectations. Yeah, it's expectations, and I guess you can call that fear or greed. But after a good market day, people are buying in pre-market because they think that trend will continue. Smart traders will take advantage of that and sell in the pre-market, like I teach my traders to do. But the actual middle of the day, the trend can change. The trend can change, and if the market closes red, typically a lot of stocks will gap down at the start of the day. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't take advantage of that, okay, and actually end up buying after the stocks gap down, because that's a proven strategy that a lot of my traders have done and I've done on many occasions. For instance, that happened with HSCS. So on HSCS, it gapped down. Okay, so this is the HSCS chart. I'll bring up the 5-minute chart here, and you can see our white buying zone here at the bottom near $1.80 where we bought it, right? And then it went up to $2.52 where we closed our position, okay? And then it went down again. But the point was, yesterday HSCS was at $2.27, okay? Our buy price was 180, okay? So we wanted a gap down. We wanted a gap down, and we took advantage of that and built our position in HSCS at a low price, allowing us to get a 30% profit on the trade. This is the one that FIB or FIB in the Discord, you've seen in the Discord, had called out and said, yo, I made so much money on this. This program actually works, right? This is a stock, and this stock gapped down here, and we took advantage of that in order to profit. So just because the stock gaps down does not mean that the stock is bad. In fact, especially for day trades, and you guys asked me about day trading and how to profit from day trading. When you're day trading, you wouldn't have to worry about the stock gapping down. Instead, you could just buy it at a lower price and actually make money on the way up. Okay, so do you put calls on the Discord? Yes, I do 3 calls for free on the Discord, and I do more like 30 calls in the Pro Discord, in the in-group. All my best trades are in the Pro group. All of my best trades, the trades like HSCS where it went up 30%, are in the Pro group. I will kind of let everybody know about halfway through in the free group what we're doing in the Pro group, but they're delayed. So just keep that in mind going forward, is that if I put a call out for a trade that we took in the Pro group, it's about halfway done. So the stock usually does go up more, but it doesn't have as much room to run. So like if you picked up HSCS at 214, yes, you could have still made a profit from 214 to profit target 252, but it would have been a lot better if you got in early at 180 like the Pro students did. So that's kind of the difference between the Pro and the free. They'll call outs in the free, and I still have YouTube videos with call outs, which are fantastic, but all of the best, safest consistent trades are in the pro group. We just hit Carvana. We just hit right there. See that profit target at 11:31. So this is our last profit target for the day. Can it come up to 11:50? Yes. Do I see it coming up to more than 11:50? No. This is probably where it's going to pull back. I'm going to add one to the position around 1075, and that counts as your call out for today, because I can see this breaking out of a range. You guys may want to consider waiting until Carvana comes to around $10, because that would be the safest entry for Carvana. And you don't want to see the stock pull below 950. Picking up the stock around $10 and selling it if it goes below 950 will give you the greatest chance of success, because now you have an upside of about $5, which is 10 times your risk if it comes down to 950. And yes, you can swing trade Carvana. Just be really careful that you sell on the way up when you're in profit. And that's the call out, CVNA call out given to you as promised. And I'm going to answer all the rest of the questions here before we close up, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day, guys. Thank you guys for joining. So we're not done yet though. So how quick on the draw do you typically have to be to get in on time? That's the really awesome thing. You guys may have seen some other traders out there who are doing 10-second trades, 15-second trades, where if you are literally 1 second too late, you'll miss it. My trading group is the only one where you have literally a whole day usually in advance to take the trade. CVNA chart, okay, right here, CVNA chart, where it said to buy in at $10 and get as close to 945 as possible. That was sent out to pro students yesterday at 8:32 p.m. So they had plenty of time to get into the stock. And I let them know again when the day opened that now is a good time, because it came down to the buy zone. And you could see at 10, when the stock was still 1022, I let them know that that's the profit target one, so they should be selling some of their position. So they literally have days and hours, and the quickest trades usually still have a few minutes to get in. So that's how long. You don't have to be super fast to trade with me. You don't have to be that fast to trade with me, because my strategy is different. And you can see CVNA pulling back now. My strategy is different. It's a strategy meant for all traders, not just traders who have lightning fast fingers or supercomputers or memberships to these like super fast data e-signal. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard like Warrior Trading, but he does a lot of scalping. That strategy does not work for the vast majority of traders. This strategy works for every trader because it follows the trend of the market and lines up all time frames in order to ensure you have the greatest chance of success. So that, and I'll now give you guys the join link. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the join link for joining the pro membership and actually trading with me. So the cost of the membership, it's only $97 a week for full pro premium Discord. I also throw in 3 live classes for any trader that joins today. I'm going to throw in 3 live trading classes where you'll actually trade side by side with me and learn how to day trade in real time, just like we're doing right now. And the Discord membership will be ongoing, so you can cancel any time. But if you want to stay in and just keep making money and you just see your bank account growing, keep it for as long as you like. You guys can feel free to use my trades for as long as you like. I do fresh research every day, and I provide individual mentorship so that you're constantly growing as traders. So I'll send over that. I'll give that link right now in the Zoom chat. Okay, Parvez, awesome, thank you. So I'll give that guys that link. Trade. I'm just going to like the Discord and pulling that link out. Okay, so that's a link. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to the checkout page. It's going to overview what you're going to be getting in return. And when you sign up, I'm going to send you guys right basically a welcome email. I'm going to send you guys a course that allows you guys to, oh yeah, I forgot, you now get a course. I just created a course so that you guys understand how to use the Pro Discord in order to place winning trades. And yeah, we'll be working together a lot from here on out. I'll make sure that you guys have the greatest chance of making money as possible. I'll literally make you a successful trader. That's my job, and that's what I do for everyone in the group. So let's see, what's the price target if we pick up at 1075? I would not pick up at 1075. Actually, I would consider picking up at 1075, but the profit target would be at 1095 and 1131. And my long-term profit targets for CVNA are at $12.22 and $13.92. But the stock may take about a week to actually come to those levels if it ever does. So that's why we saw on the way up. But certainly I'm saving some shares for these longer term profit targets because CVNA chart is still strong. I expect it to range for a few days. And then eventually the stock can eventually go up more. But I'll send out some more. I'll send out.
Calendar, 12 p.m. free signal starts in 1 hour.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so I'll send out some more updates, and you can kind of see that CVNA just pulled back quite a bit, which is why we saw at the sell targets, right? We sell right there at the last sell target, and then it pulls down. So now there could be a chance to add around this 1069, 1075 level, because again, the long-term trend is there, right? It's there. CVNA is a fairly strong stock, and we stand to profit off of it in the long term. If something changes, I'll send an update. I always send updates, even if a trade's not going our way, because we don't want anyone to back hold anymore. If you're tired of losing money, then you definitely want to be a part of our group, because I make sure that nobody's losing money consistently by kind of pulling them out of bad trades, because it needs to happen, right? We need to get back. We need to stop taking losing trades, and we need to stop back holding. So how long will it take to earn 97 a week? It technically only takes one winning trade to earn $97. If you're trading with $1,000, okay, if your trading account is $1,000 and you put $1,000 into CVNA, 978, and then you sold it near 1075 or $11, you would be making $120 on that one trade. Okay, so you would already earn the fees back. That's why Fib, he said that the course pays for itself, because not only are you going to be learning how to trade, but you're going to be getting winning trades constantly that you can take and actually make money instantly. And one more question: any plans for BBBY? Okay, Parvez, have an awesome day. Thank you for coming. BBBY. So BBBY here, okay, BBBY, it says, any plans? No, don't really have plans for BBBY, but I will say it's interesting. BBBY is interesting. Thank you, Thick. Hope to see you in the Discord soon. Here at $2.60, it's at least an interesting stock, okay? If it pulls back to around 250, 240, and it starts to like even out, that would be interesting as well. In fact, I'm actually considering BBY for a possible swing trade, but that's not a signal yet. It's not a level yet where I would want to trade it long term, but that's just an FYI. BBY is an interesting stock. It's on my watch list. So today we went over how to identify a trend, drawing trend lines, how to stop bag holding, the difference between a day trader and a swing trader, how to identify stocks that are actually good for swing trading, okay? Stocks that are actually good for swing trading as opposed to just swing trading any stock just because somebody talks about it, right? Who may or may not know who they're talking about, and how to make money buying and trading stocks in our pro Discord. So if you guys have any questions about anything, whether it's the content that we went over today, or it's just trading in general and the different obstacles that you might face and how to overcome them, reach out to me anytime in the free Discord. And if you're in the premium Discord, then expect me to answer your question right away, or at least answer your question with a depth that you just typically wouldn't get anywhere else. So you guys, thank you guys all for joining. This is all about helping you guys succeed long-term. I hope to see you guys in the pro, but even if you don't, I still want you in the group making money. I'm here to make everybody money. I'm here to kind of give you guys what I didn't have, which was expert guidance early on. And if you guys follow what I'm teaching you, I guarantee you, you will be successful in the day trading field.